Ladies and gentlemen, American German Bulldog Nation, welcome to Bulldog Sports. Yours truly, Eric Deters, the Bulldog, with my sidekick, Nick Batista. You can't make this up, guy. This guy went to college on a physics scholarship. That's how smart this Cleveland guy is.
I got it dead me.
You got to be the smartest person in Cleveland.
Oh, gee.
All right, here we go. The Kentucky Derby. Before we get to the race itself, horses were dropping like flies getting hit with fly swatters this week at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, what's that all about?
What do you think, Nick?
I think there's some wokeness going on.
This past year, the year before last, excuse me, they passed the Horse and Safety and Integrity Act. It's called HISA.
Oh.
And you know what? It's not working. It was the federalization of the horse industry. It was led by Mitch McConnell. And what's going on? And by the way, one of the big supporters of it, Churchill Downs.
Right. Of course. I mean, the government gets involved to get way overboard. Because of Bob Baffert, probably, right?
Yep.
One guy.
The Bob Baffert. This is all Bob Baffert.
Yeah. I mean, he looked like a gangster. I mean, that's when the sport was great, right? I mean, now it's... Of course.
Wasn't boxing better when it was ran by gangsters?
Absolutely. And Vegas.
I mean, some sports are better ran by gangsters.
Locust and Baffert, man, it looked like two guys.
Let's bring back the gangsters.
The Broncos.
And let's the horse industry flourish again. It's weird, though. It's weird.
Well, that's what.
By the way, just so you know, for the record, it's a political issue in the governor's race. I stand for the independence of Kentucky horse racing. I don't want the feds messing around with my Kentucky horse racing.
I figured that's why they were dropping, why they were being scratched, because of the stupid government involvement.
Bingo.
Yeah.
All right, Kentucky Derby race itself. Forte scratched right before the race, the favorite. And up runs MAGE, who nobody thought would win.
Nobody.
Two Phil's second, Angel of Empire third.
Right.
What do you think about the Kentucky Derby?
Well, I had money on Two Phil's because of the local affiliation there with Jeff Ruby, right?
Two Phil's.
Yeah, wasn't he part of that?
I didn't know if he was or not.
Yeah, pretty sure he was. Yeah, MAGE, I mean, where I was at a track. Nobody knew who it was. I mean, there must have been, I don't know, 15,000 people there. Nobody knew.
By the way, MAGE means sorceress.
Sorceress. It wasn't a filly, was it?
I think it was a sorceress that caused this horse to win. Angel of Empire. It should be called Angels of Empire.
Well,
poorly named horse.
14 and 5 were the favorites after the scratches. So
by the way, I went to a little derby party, had a good time. I pull out the names of a horse, like the worst horses. I did not place a bet. My wife bet, and she lost. Because bettors always lose in the end.
Not true. My wife won on a suggestion from me on an exacta. She won $150.
Well, good for you.
$10 bet.
Quit your job, become a professional horse handicapper. All right. Now, the Flying Pig was ran. The marathon winner was Jason Salyer. He beat me by 30 seconds at the finish. Flying Pig marathon female, Caitlin Keene. Flying Pig half marathon, Seth Elking.
Yeah, I saw his interview. I watched a little bit of it this morning.
Boy, you are a dedicated sports analyst.
Yeah, I am.
The weather was awful for it. Awful. Amy Piercy. The 10K was Kyle Killinger. Caught you at the end. And the Flying Pig 10 female, Olivia Anger. Flying Pig 5K, Christine Reach. Flying Pig 5K female, Brooke Windermuth. 50 West Mile male. We're not going to cover all those. What are those?
I don't want to generalize here, but this is like
do they have
a marathon where skinny white guys win. I don't know what.
It's the last sport for skinny white guys. Running.
Like Kenyans usually.
That's right. Well, no Kenyans come to Cincinnati.
Maybe that's why.
They're barred.
A local guy.
They're barred from our city. They're illegal aliens as far as we're concerned. Oh, good golly. All right, NBA playoffs. Our producer finally gave us some cheat sheets to work with.
Yeah.
Before I came here, I watched the Sixers Celtics overtime game. What a game. Man. Jim Harden redeemed himself.
Finally, yeah.
James Harden, boy, oh boy. So that's tied 2-2. Heat's up 2-1 on the Knicks. The Nuggets, this is a game like I guess the home court's going to win because the Nuggets get their, they beat the Suns. They play in Denver. It's crazy.
Right.
Golden State Lakers are up 2-1 on them.
Unbelievable.
What do you think about that?
That's AD's team now, man. LeBron, it's not his team. If AD plays well, they win.
That is correct.
Man, he had a hell of a game.
You know what, though? You got to hand it to the Lakers. What made the Lakers a great team is that trade they made in the middle of the season.
Right.
Or not even towards the end of the season.
The trade deadline.
I mean, who would think that Jared Vanderbilt, somebody who hardly played at UK and went pro, would be a critical part of the Lakers team?
Right. He's had some good
But they're good stuff. Under Armour camp, I had the newspaper. I was going to bring in here. A lot of our local high school football players are going to get to go to the Under Armour camp and play. It's kind of a big deal. But you know what? Screw it. There's too many names to read off.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking through the pages trying to find what the hell is an Under Armour.
Check out your local newspaper and you can see all their names. We don't have time to do that on our sports show. All right, the Cincinnati Reds lost like 48-6 today. It was only 17-4. Holy cow, man.
Yeah, that wasn't the worst of the worst.
They got obliterated by the White Sox.
Your young savior pitcher, Graham Ashcraft, gave up
8 runs in an inning.
Oh my gosh.
Now what about your Guardians?
Hey, we took a series from the Twins this weekend.
Guardians.
Big series.
Guardians.
2 out of 3 from the Twins. We're only 2 games back.
Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery. I thought that was just for pitchers. I thought you weren't allowed to have Tommy John surgery unless it was for a pitcher. But he's back with Tommy John surgery, and he hits a home run. But the Red Sox still win.
Well,
did you hear what happened with the Yankees today?
Yeah,
the Yankees were up 6-0 with Garrett Cole on the mound, and they lose.
Gave up a 3-run bomb, tied it.
Jeez,
lost in extras.
I gotta find this guy's name because we need to properly humiliate him. Hold on a minute here. The BAMA baseball coach.
Oh yeah.
Was fired. What's his name, Josh?
Brad Bohannon.
Yeah.
Brad Bohannon.
Yeah.
Fired for some suspicious betting on a Bama game.
Right.
I understood Pete Rose was seen in the dugout.
He went right to the guy and to make the bet for him rather than going with 3 people deep or whatever. But that was stupid.
In other words, it was dummy got caught.
It was dummy got caught. See, this legalized gambling, man. I thought I was for it. I'm not a prude or anything, but I don't like it.
It's kind of, you know what?
I don't like it at all.
Everybody's going to be betting, baby. I'm for it.
Out in the open.
Like I said, let the gangsters.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let the gangsters back in.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals, we got a little bit of news. They signed a former Chicago Bears backup quarterback who sucked, Simeon, to a backup position. Logan Wilson still hasn't been signed. Hopefully they can sign him because let's face it, they've lost enough on their damn defense.
Right.
They lost both starting safeties.
Yep.
They don't need to lose anymore. You got any Browns news before we move on to our last item, which is an item I know you really love?
Any Browns item? No, there's nothing, man.
Nothing new for the Brownies?
No.
I got to ask you a question. What about their quarterback that went to the L.A. Rams? I'm losing my mind here. I can't think of his name.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Is Baker Mayfield going to re-sign with the Rams or is he
he's
free
a
agent?
starting quarterback for Tampa Bay.
Baker Mayfield's now in Tampa Bay?
He sure is.
I did not know that.
He's named the starter.
Well, you know what? There's not going to be much of a drop-off in quarterback play in Tampa.
From Tom.
I mean, come on, Brady to Mayfield. There'll be no drop-off. By the way, in all seriousness, I like Baker Mayfield. The Cyclones have won a series. They're taking another step forward to winning their 3rd Kelly Cup. It's the only cup that Cincinnati sports fans wins, except another one of your favorite teams, FC Cincinnati, won again at home.
Oh, did they?
I think they're undefeated at home.
Yeah.
They didn't tie.
One win,
or they draw.
nine
They didn't draw. They won. They actually won, scoring more points. But FC Cincinnati and the Cyclones are our championship teams in this town now. And you got anything else in sports?
Yeah, what do you think about the coronation?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something about the coronation. Let's talk about the coronation, all right? Here's what I think about the coronation. First off, Charles looks just like his mother.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you look at her. He looks just like Mom. Number 2, He is the longest waiting monarch in history. 70 freaking years to become king, and he finally gets it.
You know what I hope? I hope he decides to take over the world. I mean, like they used to do, you know.
Yeah, they used to do kings declare war, medieval times.
Get on a horse and
Declare war against
saying,
France.
man.
Yeah, well, England has to declare war on France first.
That's true.
It's got to be France. So the next thing.
That would be exciting. Let's do that, Charles.
My next comment about it is every king named Charles has either been beheaded or had to leave town.
Right.
So, I mean, Charles first, Charles second, it didn't turn out good, buddy. So we'll see how it turns out with Charles third. And you never know. William seems like a really nice guy, but you know, some thrones have been left because the sons killed him.
Right.
What if William really is not such a nice guy and Wax is dead?
We need something like that. I mean, what else do these royals do but have...
They don't do nothing. They got money. And I got to add some more. See, you wanted to talk about it. I'm ready. William walked into that cathedral or whatever it was, the palace, whatever, Westminster. Holy cow, he had so much stuff on. How could he walk?
Right.
I'd like to know what William's stuff weighed.
Well, he sure wasn't in combat ever. I mean, what do you get these things for?
And then we're a sports show, so let's just go ahead and say what every male who's watching our show is thinking. Kate's hot.
Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Kate's hot. Long live Princess Kate.
Right.
And then their kids are cute as can be. That little girl is so cute, and that little boy yawning, old Louis going, you know, he was tired. And how about this is awful. How about good old what's the name of his book? The Spare. The Spare was nowhere to be seen except behind it. He wasn't allowed to walk out on the balcony. He left town right away on a chartered flight.
Wasn't that the book that his son wrote?
Yeah, he wrote. It's called The Spare.
Yeah.
He calls himself The Spare.
How about the Queen said about her before she died? That she was evil.
Yes. Yes.
The most forgiving woman.
And the new rumor is Meghan and The Spare are having marital problems.
No,
does that shock you?
Yeah.
That didn't really shock me.
He's pissed.
Yeah,
what the hell did I do?
Yeah, she finally realized no crown, no perks.
Yeah.
Screw this guy. He's the Spare. He said, I married the Spare. She hooked the Spare, married the Spare. The Spare sucks.
Maybe she'll set up a hit on Charles.
Josh, do you have anything that we've left out in sports? Something really important?
I can't think of it.
Have you watched the Crown series? I've watched every episode, and Charles was portrayed just the way he is. Ugh.
Yeah.
Charles is just weird, man.
Awful.
He's awful. Long live William and Kate. All right, this is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. This is my sidekick, Nick Batista. I've already tossed. Wait, I got more paper to toss. Have a great one. We'll see you next week.